We got some big things. We know that crypto ripped yesterday and overnight. Bitcoin making a big move up. Now, if you've been following my game plans, you know that with members of Verified Investing Crypto at Verified Investing, we talked about how once we got above this level, it gave us that bullish bias in Bitcoin. Broke out, consolidated, and then this big move has occurred. Now, I'm going to tell you how I played it. All right, I'm going to give you the inside scoop on exactly how I did it. So with members, we talked about this yesterday, how at around 31,000 or so, I was going to take half of the Bitcoin position that I was holding off of the table. So right into this resistance, right? Pivot high, and upsloping trend line right here. That, again, gave us that first initial exit. Now, Bitcoin continued to roar to the upside, ultimately surging all the way up to this level. Once we got to about $34,000, I took my other half off the table. So at this stage, I am out of my swing trade on Bitcoin that I let you guys know I was in over the last couple weeks. Now, what I did in addition, and check this out, guys, once we pierced this level, once we got above 35,000, I initiated a short on Bitcoin. Small position, but starting to dip the toe in the water on Bitcoin. Because of the extended move, you're now starting to hit major resistance levels. Now, this is just a starter position. If it goes higher, I have the ability to add to that short. But this is what trading is all about, right? It's all about looking at the chart, looking at the probabilities of the coming move as a swing trader, and positioning yourself. In addition, notice how I legged out. I didn't say, oh, this is a resistance line, let me just exit a whole position. Instead, I said, you know what? Let me play it smart here. Let me move out of half of the position, let the other half run. If it had pulled back like this, I could have rebought that half. It ended up not, but I was able to capture that alpha to the upside. So again, that's really, really important to understand. So at this stage, I am out of my swing trade on Bitcoin. I am now in a short right up here, but a small starter position. The reason why it's a small starter position is because ultimately, if we do see it go up, there are other levels where I will add to the short. All right, so if we zoom out on this chart, and again, we're now going back pretty far, but what we can see, and again, it'll be hard for me to just kind of, there we go, we can zoom in a little bit like that. But basically, these are your next levels. Your next level comes in around 37,500, and the next one is a pierce of 4,000. So we could go up as high as around 4,000. That would be your best bull case scenario before you get a significant pullback. I don't necessarily anticipate that happening, but again, notice how I'm leaving room. My short is right here, but it's only about a 1/6 position, which means I have lots of opportunity to add once we, or if we get up to these higher levels. Now, again, I want to be clear. This is a swing trade. I'm not betting against Bitcoin in the long term. I'm a huge, huge long-term bull on Bitcoin. All right, I think it is the future. I think it's the digital gold of the future. But again, I'm a trader. I go in and I go out. I've been short many times over the last year or two. I've been long many times. Just go look at the track record on Verified Investing for Verified Investing Crypto. It shows all the entry dates, all the entries, and the profits and the losses. Okay, so that's what we have here. Now, a couple things to go over here.
Bitcoin is back in the spotlight, surging past $35,000. But this isn't just wild speculation. There are solid reasons behind this surge. Here are the top 5 factors driving Bitcoin's resurgence. The main driver behind this Bitcoin surge is the excitement around a potential spot Bitcoin ETF approval. The epicenter of this surge is BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. It's gaining attention because BlackRock obtained a CUSIP, an identification number for securities, signaling preparations for a launch. A significant development came when the court ended the Grayscale SEC dispute. The SEC must now reconsider its refusal of Grayscale's transition to a spot ETF. This hints at a potential ETF approval by the SEC. Short sellers bet against Bitcoin, and they've been losing big time. Over $161 million in BTC futures shorts were liquidated recently. Price surges driven by leverage can be unstable, but they've been a major driver of this rally. A Tigo AP buyer, possibly an institutional investor, has been actively accumulating Bitcoin. This method spreads orders over time to avoid drastic price shifts. This has influenced the price, and market makers seem to be providing liquidity to this buyer, especially around the $37,000 mark. In the auctions market, market makers shorting gamma might amplify Bitcoin's price surge. A 50% price rebound from its lowest point could signal a bottom. In a nutshell, Bitcoin's recent jump is driven by excitement about a spot Bitcoin ETF, resolving disputes, short sellers getting squeezed, smart trading strategies, and activity in the options market. These factors are pushing Bitcoin to new highs, and the future looks intriguing. Bitcoin's price just smashed through $35,000, and here's why. Grayscale's successful court battle with the SEC indicates a brighter future for Bitcoin ETFs. The SEC seems to be changing its tune, with Chairman Gary Gensler reviewing multiple ETF proposals. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF application is also in the spotlight, and the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation's listing of it hints at a positive outcome. This, alongside new developments in Bitcoin's trading patterns, could push its price much higher. As for predictions, experts suggest Bitcoin could reach $42,000 to $100,000. The most bullish forecast comes from Anthony Scaramucci, envisioning a $330,000 Bitcoin if a spot ETF gets the green light. Exciting times lie ahead for Bitcoin. The U.S. Court of Appeals has ordered the SEC to review Grayscale's spot Bitcoin ETF application, emphasizing the similarities between Grayscale's proposal and already approved Bitcoin futures ETFs. This could clear the way for Grayscale's ETF to be approved, but the SEC's next steps are still uncertain. Grayscale is not alone in its pursuit of a Bitcoin ETF. Other major firms, including Fidelity and BlackRock, are also seeking approvals. The SEC is in the spotlight, balancing market innovation and consumer protection amid growing interest in Bitcoin ETFs. Let's continue our enlightening discussion with Gareth Soloway.
We have seen Bitcoin dominance move higher. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. I have a target for Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is Bitcoin dominance. Now, dominance means it's comparing itself to everything else in the crypto sector. And what we've seen is as investors and institutions begin to understand that the spot ETF will be approved, they've been buying Bitcoin mainly. Now, we have seen altcoins starting to pop a little, which is good because I have altcoin long positions. We'll go over those in just 1 second. But ultimately, the majority of money is going into Bitcoin because that's where the spot ETF is going to be approved in, right? Now, if you look at the dominance chart here, this is pretty fascinating stuff, right? We can zoom out on this, and as we zoom out, we start to get a couple levels. So on this chart of dominance, notice the parallels. Parallels are unbelievably important in trading. And what we could see is if we take this low here, which was basically the low at the start of the dominance period of 2022, and we connect it through this low, right through this pivot, it tags it here, which implies that if Bitcoin dominance gets to about 55%, we should be into resistance. And that would be where I would expect Bitcoin to start to falter, potentially against all other things crypto. Now, if it breaks through that, we have a beautiful parallel line going here, right through here, right to here, and this would be your secondary target. Now, as a trader, you have to look at these levels and say to yourself, okay, there's a chance that the probability is we stall here and pull back. But down the line, Bitcoin, again, could have another bull run, which could take us up to that next one. So this would be your first resistance. You would respect it until proven otherwise. And then at some point after a pullback, if dominance starts breaking out, this is your next target. It's at 60%. Now, what's fascinating about 60% is if we zoom out, take a look at this. Where does 60% get us? And I want to show you this because, again, this stuff is really pretty darn cool. All right, bear with me here. So, again, we're zooming out on the dominance chart now. We're zooming way out. If we look at this 60% level, where does it coincide? Look at this pivot point right here. Drag that through. It would take us back to a major pivot low on the dominance chart. That would be then the pivot high. One of my favorite things when I'm looking at charts is finding levels that coexist together. So by itself, this would be powerful. By itself, this trend line would be powerful. You add these trend lines together, right? 1 + 1, and you get something even more powerful. You get 2. So again, that's some of the things that you look for. One of my main things when I'm swing trading and day trading is looking for 2-factor or better trades, meaning that I don't just want a gap fill. I want a gap fill or a pivot high or a double bottom with another factor at least. When you get 2 or more factors, you're pushing your probabilities of success north of 70%. You go to any casino and tell them, hey, listen, I'd like to open up a casino and win at least 70% of the time. You will be a golden child in that scenario. That is exactly the place you want to be, and I think that's important for us to recognize.
That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.